Welcome to Mr. Franklin and Mr. Carter's English 2. I'm Mr. Franklin.
And I'm Mr. Carter.
Today you are a B-Day student. You are at home. The reason that you are at home watching this video and not getting this in person is because you have picture day, the very first day that you're in school, and you will be getting your picture taken. Make sure to wear clothes that you want to be pictured in. Doesn't matter to me what those clothes are as long as they're school appropriate. Today we're going to talk about rules and regulations, Canvas, and the online workbook, and I'm going to talk about some of our promises that we're going to make to you. First, I am Mr. Franklin. I was in the United States Navy for 4 years on board the USS Emory S. Land in La Maddalena, Italy, and Bremerton, Washington. I was an information systems technician, and so that has a close place to my heart. I grew up in the great state of Colorado. I'm a Denver Broncos fan because I am right and you are wrong. But I miss the mountains. I love Missouri and I love being here, but Colorado will always be my home. I love books, as you can probably tell when you get to my classroom. I love books. One day my own personal library will be this large. It already looks like this. It's as disorganized as this. It's just not quite this many books yet. I went to the University of Missouri, M-I-Z. That's where you go Z-O-U. So Mizzou, again, I love Mizzou. These are my 3 girls. I love them with all my heart. You can see they all have curly hair, and they all look basically the same, and when they get older, it will be hard to tell them apart. I love to write. I write mostly science fiction and fantasy, but I write short stories. I've written a couple books, and no one will ever see them by design. It's mostly just a hobby, and so I love to write.
Hey, this is Mr. Carter. I want to start off by saying, go Chiefs! There in the top left, you'll see my wife and 3 amazing children. Been married for 14 years. My wife is also a teacher at Carthage. And moving on over, one of the things I love to do is go fishing. I'm trying to do that as much as I can. That's my son and I on the Missouri River with a big old blue cat. Next picture there is me playing board games online using Zoom. I was playing with a guy from Pittsburgh, the state of, what is that? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not in geography. My family and I, we play a lot of board games together, and friends is one of our hobbies that we really enjoy. Next there at the bottom left is me after a great morning of duck hunting. It is probably my favorite hobby. As fall and winter comes towards the end of the week, you'll see me getting a little more antsy because that means I'm probably going to be going hunting that weekend. Next up is one of the other things I like to do is to read. I like to read, and so the best time for me to do that's early in the morning. So there's a picture of a book and the good book. Next over is a picture of me laying on the floor, about to die. One of the things that we like to do as a family is to work out. So I usually go to CrossFit almost every day during the week, just to keep us healthy and to burn off any extra energy or stress that we have during the day.
Any class is going to have rules. It's not fun to go over rules, but it is necessary so you know where the lines are. So I like to keep my rules simple. Don't make me make this face. That's the rule of duh. Should I do this stupid thing that I know not to do? No. Duh. Should I throw this book across the classroom at my classmate? No. Duh. Should I, and this is a true story, squirt hand sanitizer across the classroom at my classmate for TikTok? No. Duh. So even if it's not a specific rule, there are a lot of things you just shouldn't do. There are certain words you should not say. You know what those words are. I don't need to go over them. Next one, no cell phones. No cell phones, no cell phones. That's not an ambiguous rule. That's not a rule that has wiggle room. Just no cell phones. Well, I say it has no wiggle room. If you've got a mom or dad in the hospital or something's going on at home, you can talk to me about that in advance, or Mr. Carter in advance. But any other time, if we see a cell phone, first time, written up. Second time, written up, and then I'm emailing home. Third time, written up, and then I'm emailing home and an administrator. No cell phones. You just don't need them. You know that. We know that. If you got a significant other, like, you didn't text me during Franklin and Carter's class, they can wait. Bathroom basics. We're going to go over that in class because that is an evolving policy right now for the school. 4th rule, we are all human. You're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. I will not hold those mistakes over your head forever. My first year of teaching, I had a student who got upset. It was not at me, had nothing to do with me, and then shouted a curse word at me. 2 days later, saw that same student. He came over and he thought I was still mad at him. And I said, Philip, man, I didn't like what you did, but you made a mistake. You apologized for it. We're going to move on. That's my policy. You make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. We're going to apologize for them. We're going to move on. We're not going to hold those mistakes over students' heads. We need to go over Canvas and the online platform quickly just because they're necessary for us. Let me close out of these so I can show you how to get there. Canvas, most of you have already used it. You're sophomores. Click on our, that's the English one. See, I told you, mistakes. I made a mistake. And Mr. Carter's not jumping down my throat for it.
Nope, we're all human.
This is what our Canvas page looks like. It's an agenda. This is the 24th. I need to update this to show that we'll play this video. Ignore that. If you're already watching this video, you've noticed that it has changed. A-Day students, this is what you'll be doing in class. When you're at home, it will show you what you need to be doing at home. Usually there'll be a short video where we introduce whatever it is that I'm asking you to do. And there will be links to various assignments. This is a link to the syllabus, but if you click on the link to the assignment, it'll take you to the assignment, and then you can just submit the assignment here. It'll look slightly different for you as I'm still on the teacher version. What is due before the next class period? These are due before the next class period. Each of these should take about 2 or 3 minutes. There's not a lot due before the next class period. So if you're ever absent, or you know you're going to be absent, you know the very first place to look is this agenda. I should never get an email that says, Mr. Franklin, what did we do? You should just look at Canvas and be able to figure it out. Now, obviously, if you have a question about what we did after looking at Canvas, that's fine. Next, we need to get to Savas, formerly Pearson's. It's the online platform for the workbook we're going to be using. Open up a new tab, go up here. This is called the Google Waffle. Scroll all the way to the bottom, click on Easy Bridge. Might make me, nope, it didn't make me log in again this time. Click on Realize. You can close out of these tabs. You won't need them again. And it should look very similar to this. When you're doing your screenshot assignment, I don't want you to take a screenshot of this page. And the reason I don't want you to take a screenshot of this page is because it could look identical for all of you. What I want you to do is go up to this very humanoid-looking figure, click on it, and it will have your name here. This is what I want you to take a screenshot of. So, and I accidentally closed out of our slideshow, so I'll have to go back to that. Again, we're all human. Just a little behind the scenes. We already recorded this video and didn't have any sound.
0 sound.
And leading that, we have some central philosophies for this classroom.
So we'll start out with number 1. We're all here to better ourselves. So what that means is when you come in here, obviously our goal is to teach you what's
the curriculum.
The curriculum. There you go. See, I gotta learn. So yeah, we're here to teach you the curriculum, and you know what? You're not going to know it the first day. You may have some fellow classmates that are maybe a little more advanced than you, and that's okay. They're going to advance at a different level than you are. Okay. Like I said, we're all here to better ourselves. I know for me, this is my first year teaching, and I have been in here almost every day trying to prepare myself to teach you guys the curriculum. And it's not been easy. It's been difficult, and I think that you guys will find, the first few weeks are going to be a little bit difficult, but you just need to prepare for that and know that, it'll get easier as we go through.
Yeah, and one of the worst things to be is the person who's at the gym. I don't know why I keep bringing up a gym. I clearly haven't seen one in a while, but the person who's at a gym and you're in shape and you see somebody who's out of shape going to the gym and you make fun of them. That is a horrible person to be. Don't be that person in this classroom. If you're good at something, if something comes easily for you and it doesn't for someone else, you know what your instinct should be? Let me help them. Let me be a good example for them. Do not make fun of them. Because one, that's just cruel and mean, and it's also going to shut them down. So be the person who helps, not the person who makes fun of.
I can, using the going to the gym reference, when we're in CrossFit's the workout that I do, and there's people of all various shapes and sizes. We're all there to get better. but there may be something that I may be good at or somebody else is good at. And if you see somebody struggling, one of our first instincts is to help them. Not make fun of them. Not make fun of them because they can't deadlift as much as me, but to help them with their form so that they can get better themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Number 2, sometimes you have to push through the wall. Sometimes you can just open the door. I'm a person whose instinct is to always push through the wall. And I have to learn to ask for help sometimes. But I don't want you getting to the point where you're always asking for help without trying. There's a balance that you have to find here, and it's different for everyone. If I'm not figuring something out and it's just not happening, I have to sometimes go to another teacher and say, I'm just not getting this. I'm trying, and I'm not getting it. And it's necessary to go ask for help. But other times, you need to try. You need to make the honest attempt because that's how you grow. It's important for you to try because if you're not trying, you're not figuring out what you're not getting. If your first instinct is, I don't understand any of this, I'm not going to try, I'm going to ask somebody else for help with it, you're never going to learn that thing. You're only ever going to be able to do it with somebody else's help. I want you to learn how to be able to figure out where that line is for you.
For me, this is exactly where I'm at right here. With me being a new teacher, I could easily ask Mr. Franklin, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And he's more than happy to help me, but I'm not going to learn if I go that route. I need to try and do what I can on my own. That's the only way I'm going to learn. And then when I'm just absolutely to that wall that I can't figure it out, then I rely on him to help me. And he's not just giving me the information, he's just showing me the way and allowing me to continue to grow. And that's what you students are going to need to do in this class.
Yeah, and like I said, that line is different for each of you, and we will try and help you. There will be times where if you come to us for help, I might say, why don't you go back and you give it an honest attempt, and then I'll help you. And that's not me being mean or being lazy. That's me allowing you the opportunity to figure it out before you ask for help. Finally, don't build the building without a blueprint. You must have a plan. It doesn't need to be a detailed plan. You don't need to know exactly where you're going to be 10 years from now. I am 30 X number of years old. I'm not going to say the exact number. I'm 30 X number of years old, and I'm in my 3rd year of teaching. I didn't have an exact plan. But you know what? I have a plan for a few weeks from now. I have a plan for tomorrow. I set myself up for success by saying, here are the things I'm going to do today that will ensure that everything I need to get done today gets done. And it doesn't just go with writing. With writing, you need some kind of blueprint, some kind of plan. Don't just be somebody who goes with the flow, because sometimes the river's not going very fast. Sometimes you have to paddle. Sometimes you have to take over and say, here's what I'm going to do. Here are the actions I'm going to take to ensure that my future is what I want it to be. You're in high school now. It's time for you to say, this is mine now. This education is mine. I'm taking control of it. Here's what I'm going to do to make sure I end up in a position 3 or 4 years from now where I'm successful. So I start off every year with promises. I make promises to my students, and I do that so that you know where I'm coming from. My first year, I started off with 1. I've got 4 now. By my 30th year, I'll have 50. It's just going to keep growing. But my first promise, I show up to this building each and every day for you. I don't show up to this building for Dr. Gilbreth or for Dr. Moss, even though they're my employers. I show up for you. In my head, you are the people that I'm here to serve, not Dr. Moss or Dr. Gilbreth. Your success, your health, your advancement, that's why I'm here every day. I can make a lot more money doing a lot less work a lot of other places, but I'm here to help you. I'll treat each and every one of you like a human being. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be nice to you all the time. That doesn't mean I'm going to be, you get to run the roost. What that means is I'm going to show you enough respect to push you to be better in this classroom. Like in a gym, again, we're going to bring up a gym again. If you hire a trainer and that trainer's just like, you know what, you do you. Don't push, don't work hard. That'll feel great. You say, eat all the donuts you want.
I like donuts.
You're not going to grow. You're not going to get better. So I'm here to help you get better. Even on those days where you just really don't want to get better, we're here to say, no. Today you're going to get better. And on that, we can help you grow. We're both trained. We both have the life experience necessary to show this is how this skill it will help you in life. This is how getting better at this will help you in life. We can help you grow. And finally, we're not perfect, and neither are you. And that's been kind of a theme of this. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Mr. Carter's not perfect. He's closer to it than I am, but he's not perfect.
Not even close.
And we don't expect perfection from you. That's why we're in this classroom. If I ask you to do something, if I ask you to do a task in this classroom and you struggle with it, perfect. That's perfect. If you get it first try without any real effort, that means the task that I'm asking you to do is too easy. So if I see you struggling, you know what my thought is? Great, excellent. I don't want you to be like, oh man, I'm struggling with this. Something's wrong with me. You should be. It's called the zone of proximal development. It's a psychology thing. There's a region where your growth happens. And if something's too hard or too easy for you, you're not going to grow. So our aim is to get it in that area where, man, this is really difficult, but I'm kind of getting it. That's where I want you to be all the time. If you're at the point where I get this, okay, let's move on, that means one of two things. Either we're going way too slow, or I'm doing this for the whole class. There are classmates that are struggling. So nobody's perfect.
This is my first year teaching, so I've just got one promise. And that promise is I'm firm but fair. Okay. I grew up, when you come into class, you'll see I'm the older of the two Joshes. So I grew up in a time when, they allowed paddling. I had a science teacher throw an eraser at me because I was goofing off in class. Obviously, we can't do those things at this day and age, but we do expect you to respect us as teachers, and we'll also be fair. If you have a legitimate issue regarding, something at home, or, like earlier, Mr. Franklin said, no cell phones. Hey, if your grandma's on her deathbed, let us know ahead of time, and then we can be fair to you on that issue or an issue regarding your work. Otherwise, we're going to be firm on everything else.
Exactly, and that requires communication on your part. That's part of growing up, is if we don't know that grandma's on her deathbed and you have your phone out, we can't help you at that point. So be open with us. We'll be firm but fair, and make sure that everybody has the experience that they need to have here. And in order for you to grow, part of that is finding those boundaries. And if we don't set the boundaries for you, if we're not firm with those boundaries, if I say no cell phones and then 2 days in, half the class has their cell phones out, nothing's being done about it, nobody benefits from that. So we've made some promises to you. I want you to make some promises to us and to yourself. On Canvas, there is an assignment for you. This is for this is for today, sorry. Click on the promises assignment and then follow the instructions. I want you to take your time with this and actually think it through. There's a lot of time left in the given class period. I want you to really think these promises through. This is where you get to start making that blueprint for this year, for your success, not just in this class, but in all of your others. And I know that this is going to be a weird year. It's going to be a different kind of year for all of us for a bunch of different reasons. But we're going to get through it together, and I genuinely think we're going to have a lot of fun in here, and we're going to have a lot of growth in here. And I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday. Tuesday will be picture day.